It's easier to have a villain, a face, a name, someone to point at and say, that's why everything's messed up. That's the one who did this. If we could just get rid of that one person, vote out that one party, take down that one billionaire, things would finally get better. It's a nice story. George Carlin probably would have said, we keep looking for a conspiracy because conspiracies would be a lot easier to understand. Conspiracies have meetings. Someone's in charge. Someone can be stopped. Systems don't have meetings. Systems just keep doing what they do until everyone starts acting crazy, and we all just call it normal. You can't arrest normal. I should tell you where I'm sitting when I say this. New York City, one of the most expensive places on earth. I order food to my door all the time. I fly, I buy stuff, I participate in all of it pretty comfortably most days. If everyone on Earth wanted to live the way I live, we would need the resources of 6 planet Earths. I know that number. I know what it means. I'm saying it anyways. Because this only works if I put myself in it. Not to make you feel bad, just to be honest about who's talking. So let's start with oil. Nobody decided to destroy the climate. There was no meeting, no evil plan. Nobody sat in a room and said, let's heat the planet until it stops working. What happened was simpler and way harder to fix. Millions of people made millions of regular decisions. They want to heat their house, they want to drive to work, they want to build a factory, they want to order that thing online. All of it made sense at the time. All of it added up over decades to something nobody picked, but all of us made together. See, the bad guy isn't a person. The bad guy is the math of all of us. And that's what makes it so frustrating. If it was one guy, we'd know what to do. But you can't take down a math problem. The best and worst things humans have ever made have come from the same place. The Bible, the nuclear bomb, both took millions of people working together over a long time. Both changed the world in ways nobody fully planned. One gave people a reason to keep going. The other gave us the ability to end everything in the blink of an eye. Same species, same ability to organize. We used our abilities to invent penicillin and a subscription box for beef jerky in the same century. We built libraries, we built nuclear weapons, we figured out how to cure diseases, we invented NFTs. We're a confusing group of people. We're not a villain, we're not a hero, we're just us. We talk about billionaires like they came from somewhere else, like they're a different species that snuck in and took over. But a billionaire isn't an alien. A billionaire is what a system makes when you let it run long enough without anybody hitting the brakes. They're not that different from us. They want the same things we want. They just have way more money and way fewer things slowing them down. Most of us think we'd be different if we were in their position. And most of us are probably wrong. Because the real issue isn't who people are. It's how far away they are from being what their decisions actually caused. A president orders a bombing, they don't smell the bodies. They get a report, a number, a map, clean, far away from the actual thing. You buy a phone, you don't see the mine, the factory, the workers, the conditions. You just see the cool new device in your hand in a cool little white box. The modern world is basically one big machine, and that machine is built to keep you from seeing where things come from. So we can complain about greedy corporations while we're refreshing our page to see if our package shows up. And yeah, we want to buy ethical stuff right up until it costs $12 more than it takes 3 extra days to arrive. We get annoyed when our food is taking 40 minutes instead of 30 without thinking about the person on a bike in the rain making that happen. And it's not because we're bad people. It's because the system was built to keep our choices away from the consequences. That stuff is uncomfortable. It slows things down. It gets in the way. Once we cut that connection, we can keep almost anything going. And that's not a conspiracy. That's just what distance does. And here's where it gets really uncomfortable. The people we want to blame, the ones making decisions we hate, running all these systems that seem broken, sitting on money that seems obscene, they didn't come from another planet, they came from us. We're the ones that keep them going. They get rewarded for the same things we reward in ourselves, just in a bigger scale. Sure, a lot of them are different now. Generations of wealth will do that. If your grandfather had a private jet, your idea of a normal Tuesday is probably very different from mine. But that still came from us. That still came from the same system. The gap between what they do and what I do is mostly just size and distance. They don't smell the bodies. Neither do I, most of the time. Neither do you. But this isn't about blame, it's about seeing clearly. There's a difference between doing something you know is wrong and doing something you just never had to look at. One, you can actually change. The momentum behind all of this is real. These systems weren't built in one generation. They're not going to get fixed in one generation either. What got us here took hundreds of years of small decisions, each one making sense at the time. All of them stacking up into something nobody chose on purpose. And this is not me saying give up. That's just being honest about where we are. So you can vote, you can buy differently, you can speak up. All of that matters. But most of us don't have a lot of power over the big machine. What we do have the power over is the distance, because that's right in front of us. The delivery guy, he's right there. The gap between you and what your choices actually cause is right there. Every day, you decide how much of that gap you want to keep. Just a little less distance than yesterday. Because the system is going to keep doing what the system does. But you're not just the system. And every time you close that gap even a little, you're doing something the machine wasn't built for. And it's not going to save the planet, but it might keep you from being the kind of person, that kind of person who forgets there is a planet. And maybe that's okay.